What if one morning you woke up absolutely certain that you were already dead? Not emotionally numb, not dead inside, but clinically, undeniably, irreversibly dead. You swing your legs off the bed. The floor feels cold, but distant, unreal. You touch your chest, searching for reassurance. A heartbeat should calm you. It doesn't. Corpses don't have heartbeats. They just twitch. You stumble to the mirror. Your reflection stares back, eyes open, skin warm, familiar, but something is wrong. The face looks like yours, but it isn't. You're convinced the person staring back is an empty body, animated by habit alone. No soul, no life, just biological momentum. And the most terrifying part? You're not afraid. Fear requires someone alive enough to feel it. This isn't a nightmare. It isn't symbolism. It isn't philosophy taken too far. It's a documented psychiatric condition called Cotard's delusion, a state where the mind concludes, with absolute certainty, that the self no longer exists. Some believe they are dead. Others believe they never existed at all. Some insist their organs are missing, their blood dried up, or their body is slowly decomposing from the inside. And here's the question that keeps psychiatrists up at night. How does a brain, designed entirely to keep you alive, convince itself that life is already over? What has to break inside the human mind for existence itself to be rejected? To understand that, we need to go deeper. Segment 1, The Disturbing Origins. Late 19th century Paris was obsessed with madness. Asylums were overflowing. Psychiatry was still more art than science. That's when neurologist Jules Cotard encountered a patient who defied everything medicine believed about identity. She claimed she had no organs, no nerves, no blood. She told doctors she was immune to death, not because she was immortal, but because she had already crossed the boundary long ago. She didn't ask for treatment. She didn't plead for help. She asked why everyone else was pretending she still existed. Cotard was disturbed, not by hallucinations but by logic. She was calm, rational, consistent. Certainty radiated from her like a physical force. And that certainty terrified him. This wasn't confusion. It was absolute knowledge. Her brain had erased the most fundamental belief humans hold. I am alive. She died months later, refusing food. Why nourish a body that doesn't exist? Segment 2, When the Brain Loses the Feeling of Life. Cotard's delusion isn't about believing something strange. It's about losing something essential. Your brain constantly generates a background sensation called existential presence, a quiet confirmation that you are real, alive inside your body. You never notice it until it vanishes. In Cotard's delusion, this signal collapses. Brain regions responsible for emotion, self-recognition, and bodily awareness, especially the frontal and parietal lobes, stop communicating properly with sensory input. The body is still there. The heartbeat still beats. The voice still speaks. But nothing feels personal. Nothing feels like you. The mind searches for an explanation, and it lands on something horrifyingly simple. If I feel dead, then I must be dead. That's why patients don't just feel empty, they are nothing. Some smell decay, some insist their intestines are gone. Some see a face in the mirror but swear it's a mask worn by a corpse. Reality hasn't disappeared, meaning has. Segment 3, When Science Confirmed the Impossible. Fast forward to 2008. Psychiatrists encounter Graham, a man whose case forced science to confront something unthinkable. After a suicide attempt, he survived physically. Mentally, something shut down. He insisted his brain was dead. That existence itself was a mistake. Doctors scanned his brain expecting depression. What they found was unprecedented. His metabolic brain activity resembled someone in a vegetative state. The part of the brain that says, "I am here," had gone silent. He stopped eating, not from sadness, but logic. Dead people don't need food. He wandered graveyards because that was the only place that felt honest. He wasn't seeking death. He believed he had already arrived. Psychiatry was forced to accept a chilling truth. The brain can simulate death while the body continues to live. Segment 4: Emotional Contagion and Presence. Here's the link most people miss. Emotional presence isn't just about happiness or fear. It's a survival signal. Long before humans had words, emotions were information. Fear moved faster than speech. Empathy spread instantly. Those who felt it survived. Those who hesitated didn't. Our brains are wired to mirror emotion. Mirror neurons fire when we act and when we observe others act. They simulate stress, shame, fear, joy, long before conscious thought. Sensitivity isn't armor, it's an open door. Scale it up. Facebook ran an experiment manipulating emotional content on users' feeds. Positive posts spread positivity. Negative posts spread negativity. No instructions, no persuasion. Emotion alone was enough. In everyday life, families, workplaces, and friend groups absorb each other's moods. Anxiety, bitterness, excitement, contagion doesn't announce itself. It blends. Feels like you. Feels like reality. And that's what makes it so powerful. Cotard's delusion is extreme. But milder forms, depersonalization, derealization, are far more common than we admit. Moments when your body feels like a shell, when thoughts feel borrowed, when life feels staged. The glue that binds us to being alive can weaken. Cotard shows what happens when that glue fails completely. The twist in application. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Cotard's delusion isn't chaos, it's disconnection. You may never wake up believing you're dead, but pause and think. Have you ever gone through a day barely remembering it? Driven somewhere familiar without recalling the journey? Spoken, laughed, answered questions, and felt like it wasn't really you doing any of it? That hollow sensation isn't laziness. It's your mind loosening its grip on presence. Stress, grief, trauma, or prolonged depression can numb the emotional glue that ties your awareness to your body. Most of the time, this distance is brief. A few minutes, a few hours, maybe a few days. But Cotard shows what happens when that protective numbing goes too far. When the brain doesn't just mute pain or discomfort, but actually mutes existence itself. Patients describe it in the most chilling terms. I know I'm moving, but I'm not alive. I see the world, but I'm not part of it. I'm watching someone else live my life. And here's what's striking. Milder versions are far more common than you'd expect. Depersonalization, derealization, moments where your body feels like a shell, where thoughts feel borrowed, where reality feels staged, artificial, distant. Your brain is still functioning, still keeping you alive. But the story of you, the narrative that convinces you that life is real, is faltering. Being alive isn't just biological, it's psychological. Cotard proves the mind can fail at the most fundamental task, convincing itself that existence is real. And when that story collapses, reality itself begins to feel negotiable. If the brain can convince someone they're dead, what else is negotiable? Memories, personality, reality itself? Psychology shows people who remember entire childhoods that never happened. People who wake up believing they're someone else entirely. Minds fabricate reality so convincing that truth becomes irrelevant. Cotard's delusion isn't a glitch. It's a warning flare. Identity is fragile. The mind can turn against the one thing it's meant to protect, your sense of being. If your brain can erase your existence, it can rewrite your past, replace your beliefs, and convince you of almost anything. The question isn't if the mind can break. It's how close we all are to the edge. And once you see that, you realize something unsettling. The mind rewrites quietly, edits reality, and hands you the new version as truth. Every memory, every belief, every certainty exists because your brain allows it. Remove that permission, even briefly, and reality becomes negotiable. You don't lose your mind all at once, you lose it quietly, one assumption at a time. And that is why you need to watch the next videos on Psychopedia.